gentlemen. I'm Al Haidab, and I'm here to welcome you all to the second International Conference on Cybersecurity, Cybercrimes, and Smart Emerging Technologies. Organized by the Center of Excellence in Quantum and Intelligent Computing and the EIS Data Science Research Lab. We gather here to confront the urgent challenges in cybersecurity. In a world driven by technology and data, the need for a robust defense against cyber threats has never been more critical. CCSET is not just a conference. It's a crucible of expertise and innovation dedicated to shaping the future of cybersecurity. Over the next few days, we unite experts, researchers, and industry leaders to exchange insights and pioneer solutions. Together, we stand against the evolving landscape of cybercrimes, forging alliances that will fortify our digital ecosystem. As we delve into these discussions and workshops, let our shared commitment echo beyond these walls, influencing policies and safeguarding our interconnected world. Thank you all for joining us on this vital journey, with special thanks to His Excellency Dr. Khalid Sabti, to His Excellency Dr. Nasser bin Mansour, to His Excellency Dr. Saleh Al-Freh. Please welcome with me Dr. Saad Ruwaita, Vice President for Administrative and Financial Affairs at Prince Sultan University.
Assalamu alaikum, sabah al khair. Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's with immense honor and profound gratitude that I welcome you to the second International Conference on Cybersecurity, Cybercrimes, and Smart Emerging Technology, CCSET 2023. CCSET 2023 is yet another important initiative in the context of PSU proactive strategy to address local and international problems and priorities. This momentous gathering, organized by the Center of Excellence in Quantum and Intelligent Computing and EIS Data Science Research Lab, with esteemed College of Computer Science and Information Systems of Prince Sultan University, marks a pivotal moment in our collective pursuit of secure, resilient, and technologically empowered future. In today's increasingly interconnected world, cybersecurity has emerged as a critical cornerstone of our society as we embrace and the transformative power of emerging technologies. We must also remain vigilant against the ever-evolving threats that look the digital realm. Cybersecurities ranging from data breaches and ransomware attacks to identity theft and cyber espionage pose a grave danger to our institutions, our economies, and our every way of life. As we delve into the depth of cybersecurity and smart emerging technologies, let us not lose sight of human dimensions. The sequences of cyber attacks extend far beyond the realm of technology, impacting individuals, communities, and nations alike. We must strive to develop not only robust cybersecurity measures, but also strategies that promote digital inclusivity, protect privacy, and uphold ethical principles in the digital age. The Center of Excellence in the Quantum and Intelligent Computing and IAS Data Science Lab with the College of Computer Science and Information stands at the forefront of this endeavor, nurturing a new generation of cybersecurity professionals and fostering a culture of innovation and resilience. CCSET 2023 is a treatment to this commitment, providing a platform for emerging scholars to showcase their groundbreaking research and connect with mentors and potential collaborators. As we embark on the next chapter of the digital revolution, let us harness the collective wisdom and expertise gathered here today to shape a future where cybersecurity is not just a reactive measure, but a proactive force for good. Let us build a world where smart emerging technologies empower us, not endanger us, where innovation thrives amidst security, and where the digital realm serves as a bridge to more secure, prosperous, and equitable society. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saad Roueta, for your wise words. And now, to provide us with a brief summary encapsulating the essence of this vital conference on cybersecurity, cybercrimes, and smart emerging technologies, please join me in welcoming Dr. Mohammed Al-Afandi, the Chair of Conferences.
السلام عليكم جميعا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. His Excellency, Minister Computer Scientist, Dr. Khalid Al-Softi, Dr. Saad Roueta, Vice President, Vice Presidents, Deans, faculty members, our dear guests, we welcome you to a very special conference, the second International Conference on Cybersecurity, Cybercrime, and emerging smart topics. The words have been actually carefully selected, and this is not a luxury conference. It is a conference deeply embedded our track of research in the university, as I'm going to explain gradually. So on behalf of my teams in the Center of Excellence in Quantum and Intelligent Computing, IAS Data Science Lab, and the College of Computer and Information Sciences, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to this important conference, second international conference in cybersecurity, cybercrime, and smart emerging technologies. We abbreviate it CCSET 2023, and it is the second version of the conference. The last conference have been actually held here, but towards the end of the Corona season, so it was all virtual. And it was very successful, actually, despite the fact that it was totally online. And it led us, actually, to repeat. It is a serial. It is an international conference. It will be a serial conference, and need not always be hosted by PSU. It is owned, actually, by the Center of Excellence in Quantum Computing and IAS. But already, if you look at the technical committee in our program, it's a huge number of names participating in this conference, and also so many collaborators from different parts of the world. Some of them will appear today, some of them may appear later, okay? Generally, the conference emerged as a natural evolution of research in the areas of our research lab, IAS Data Science Lab. And from that, actually, story, we actually established this lab. Actually, it has been just approved, the lab, the Center of Excellence in Computing and Quantum Computing has been just established at the beginning of this semester, but with great promise in different aspects. So I hope that we all enjoy every minute of it and make sure that we learn and exchange experiences, knowledge, and ideas. And actually, sharing is one of the major objectives of this conference. Just a brief idea about the activities related to this conference. The response has been great, actually, for the call of papers. We received about 95 papers, which is a great number. We accepted only 27 for the conference. These papers cover topics from cybersecurity, quantum computing, and other fields that are related actually to the conference. Postgraduate students actively engaged in this conference. They submitted some papers from within PSU and outside PSU. Global representation, again, is very impressive. All continents in the globe are represented in the conference. Diverse topics from cybersecurity to quantum computing, from blockchain to edge computing. It covers actually a full spectrum of topics, hot topics that are related to our tracks of research. There are 3 dedicated tracks that will be launched after the break. The Center of Excellence in Quantum Computing is very special because it emerged as a natural actual outcome and evolution of our strategy and innovation movement. It became clear from our exploratory research in ES data science that there are 3 technologies that will shape the world we live in today. One of them is intelligent computing, and here it includes quantum computing and the other forms of intelligent computing that resulted from cloud computing and distributed algorithms, and hardware and software. In the hardware, of course, there is quantum computing. In other hardware forms, of course, the GPU clouds that are being established around the clock. Another important topic is 5G, 6G technologies. And this is very interesting. Many people will be surprised to mention 5G, 6G in the context of the technology that will shape the near future. But if you read about the vision of 5G, 6G, you'll be surprised to learn that the major purpose, actually, and the major vision of 6G is merged reality, which is another form of reality. We have mixed reality, extended reality, so many realities. But this one, the vision here is to merge the physical world with the virtual world. So interesting as a vision for a communication technology. But this is the reality, actually. 5G, 6G will be one of the technologies that shape the world in the near future, and we are working on that hard in our lab, and we submitted some projects in this area. Another surprising area, complex adaptive systems and blockchain technology. Actually, from the beginning in our lab, we discovered that actually blockchain technology will be very significant for the future of AI and the future of computing in the world. Together, of course, we showed that actually blockchain is a complex adaptive system, a realization of complex adaptive systems. So complex adaptive systems with blockchain technologies are one of these 3 technologies are very crucial to the coming years and will shape actually what we call AI today. Okay, so regarding the blockchain technologies, they are used now everywhere. Many companies actually, in the meeting with LG 2 weeks ago, we noticed that actually they are mentioning blockchain as one of the main technologies that will shape the world in the future. Of course, for intelligent computing, we know that. I mean, there are things that we see. For complex adaptive systems, It is under the surface now working. Actually, if you notice that many software development now is turning complex adaptive. Many of the applications that we use every day, for example, like delivery systems, are complex adaptive systems. This is a big change in the way we develop software, and also in the way. Another feature of blockchain is security by design. They are secure by design. We don't need to, and that makes them very natural, secure by design, very efficient, safe. Of course, there are some sort of problems that still occur with them. So based on this, actually, we realized we've performed, of course, a lot of research in these areas. We have many publications in quantum computing, cybersecurity, blockchain technology. Actually, there are products as well that have been published. And sensing these things, actually, we decided to establish, and in collaboration, of course, with some labs abroad, labs in China, labs in USA, labs, quantum labs, I mean, in this case. And we reached actually the point that it is important now to establish a quantum center for quantum and intelligent computing. There are two components to this, actually. There is quantum computing, and there is intelligent computing. Sometimes they compete, sometimes they can go together. So in this case, actually, we are using both. We are playing on both sides in the center. We'll be developing areas in traditional computing, intelligent algorithms in traditional computing platforms, and also intelligent algorithms in the area of quantum computing. The major features of this center focused with an ambitious strategy to conduct applied and theoretical research, innovation by design. This is a very important thing that we integrated in our research. Innovation by design means that integrating innovation in the research process. And this is why we promised the university when we established the quantum computing center that will not cost the university anything. We'll try to make it actually included in our activities. So from the beginning, innovation, there is an innovation unit in the center, and there is an innovation process that is integrated in the research process through what we call commercialization cycle. And for that purpose, actually, we invited a venture capitalist, Walid al-Balla. He's invited. I don't see him today. He will be part of us as an advisor. He's an investor. And from the beginning, all the projects that we design, he is with us on these projects. And most probably, this will lead to some products and startups very soon. And in that case, we will avoid taking any money from the university, but we promise actually also to provide some income from the university. International collaboration with international similar centers and experts, real innovation. More than one startup are on the pipeline now. Okay. Now, all these activities have been based on our innovation movement that started 4 years ago in 2019 with establishing EAS Lab. And in that case also, from the beginning, we included the innovation by design. Our innovation movement is based on 3 principles. Broad dynamic scope, broad dynamic scope. The earlier days of focused, narrow boundary research are over, in my opinion, because the technology now and the development are very dynamic, and it's very important actually to cope with this as you jump around. So the first principle, broad dynamic scope, dynamic strategy to identify priorities, predict trends, and work at the edge. The second principle, get the full picture, very important for innovation, to get a bird's eye view of the technology and how it moves. And also, of course, after that, keep close eye on technological developments and proactively derive solutions for anticipated problems. Adopt an innovation by design approach to integrate innovation in the research process. So now the stack is quite clear. We have a sort of innovation by design. We have a full center now, and also we have processes and techniques actually to carry the mission and to involve the mission. At the end, actually, I thank you all. I thank Minister Dr. Khalid Sabti for obeying our invitation, Dr. Saad al-Ruwaita, and the leader of PSU for facilitating these activities and encouraging. Actually, PSU lately have been adopting a very proactive research policy that led actually to the emergence of many ideas, many labs, and we are part of that policy and innovation. We ask also our colleagues in the college, CCIS college. Very many thanks to our Dean, Dr. Muhammad Shar'a, for his hard work with us and actually supporting us. And the organizing committee led by Professor Mamdouh Al-Anazi, and the media and public relations center. They helped us a lot actually over the past few days. We gave them hard work, and also we thank all colleagues in PSU and anybody who participated with us. If we forgot somebody, then please excuse us for that. So thank you and welcome actually to the conference, and hopefully that you will enjoy every part of it, and hopefully will be now you will find a lot of this event is again to announce that, of course, the Center of Excellence in Quantum and Intelligent Computing has been established at the beginning of this semester, or approved, and it's just active, and you will find the booklet actually while you move around. We will highlight it a lot in our research and papers. There are many nice topics within quantum computing in the conference and other things, so please look at it, and we look forward for collaboration. The major actually aspect of it that we rely on is the international collaboration. Another thing, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is an international conference, so need not be always hosted by PSU. We already received a request for the third version to be held in Kuwait. I think the NCA of Kuwait, National Security Agency of Kuwait. So we'll be very happy to do that. So it's proving actually, it is very focused actually, as you can see, as you will see, and it is not about just showing papers, something that really works actually in every detail. So welcome again, and hopefully that you will enjoy this occasion, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad, for giving us an insightful brief. Now let's welcome Dr. Saad al-Ruwaita back on stage to present a plaque of appreciation for conference chairs, acknowledging their outstanding contributions for this conference.
First is Dr. Vasanthi. Where are the shields? Yeah, sheets are coming.
And I will give one to Dr. Saad.
No, Dr. Saad will come. Yeah, maybe I'll give one. This is the token of appreciation from CSS to PSU management. Thanks a lot, Dr. Saad. Now, I would like you to please stay on the stage, Dr. Saad, please, sir, please. And now we would like to invite Dr. Muhammad Al Afandi, conference chair, to receive a shield from Dr. Saad. Now we would like to invite Dr. Muhammad Al-Shara on the stage to receive a plaque of appreciation for his endeavors support. Now we would like to invite Professor Mamdou Al-Anezi on the stage to receive a plaque of appreciation. And lastly, we would like to invite Conference General Chair, Professor Dr. Abdur Rahim, on the stage to receive a plaque of appreciation.
We'll end the keynote speakers, okay?
Okay, no, keynote. Yeah.
Keynote.
Jazakallah khair, Dr. Saad.
Introduce the keynote right away. Introduce the keynote right away.
Allow me to introduce next Professor Marcos Lopez, a quantum physicist with certifications from MIT in quantum computing and cryptography and finance and management from LCE. He has been a key figure in the intersection of quantum computing and blockchain. His pioneering work includes leading the implementation of the first end-to-end EVM quantum-resistant blockchain published in scientific reports. Currently serving as the head of quantum and blockchain at the Inter-American Development Bank, Professor Lopez has an extensive background as a professor and a lecturer at renowned institutions like Harvard Kennedy School. Additionally, he holds crucial roles as the CTO of the LAC chain, as well as advisor to Nilian, and a member of various committees, including the WEF Quantum Computing Committee. Please join me in welcoming Professor Marcos Lopez to the stage.
Hello, hello. 1, 2, 3. Hello, can you hear me? Yes? Okay. Good morning, everyone. Distinguished members of the government, distinguished colleagues, attendees. It is a privilege and a pleasure for me to join you today in this conference. This is my first time in Saudi Arabia. It won't be the last one. And I'm very happy to be able to share this research with you. I want to thank the university as well as Dr. Mohammed and Dr. Ahmed for having me here today. I expect to initiate, as part of this trip, a very fruitful collaboration on the topics of quantum and blockchain. And I really hope that part of the work that we've been doing in Latin America, the Caribbean, and the US, as I will talk a little bit about today, we can bring it to your country. The presentation I'm gonna give today is about quantum resistance in the age of digital assets. Dr. Mohammed was specifically talking about the different technologies that are gonna shape our future, including AI, blockchain, 5G. And actually, what I've seen in the past years is that when technologies really change, the future of people is when they are combined, because when you combine these emerging technologies, is that you get exponential impact. In my presentation, I'm going to talk about some pioneer work that we've done in the convergence between blockchain and quantum. We developed the first blockchain network that is resistant to attacks by quantum computers end-to-end. The publication was featured by Scientific Reports, that is a magazine by Nature and Springer. And I had the pleasure to collaborate in this paper with Dr. Salvador Venegas, who is also presenting tomorrow. He wasn't able to make it to Saudi this year, but he will be presenting tomorrow in a digital format from Mexico as well. As a matter of some context for this presentation, I want to share with you that I'm a quantum physicist. I studied in Europe and in the US, and then I developed my professional career in Latin America and the Caribbean. I've been working with the Inter-American Development Bank, as you see over there, that is the largest multilateral in Latin America and the Caribbean. And as part of this bank, we've been implementing these technologies in several countries in Latin America and the Caribbean, both quantum technologies and blockchain technologies. We also created the largest blockchain network in Latin America and the Caribbean, which is LACchain. I was the co-founder and the CTO. In this network, we gave service to governments, to private sector corporations, to financial institutions, to entrepreneurs, and they have been using blockchain technology in order to do a lot of projects, both with impact in the corporations and with impact in individuals. For this work, we collaborated with the Instituto Tecnológico de Monterrey from Mexico, and also from Quantinum. Quantinum is one of the largest companies developing cybersecurity solutions using quantum technologies. So what we realized in order to initiate this work 2 years ago is that we are entering a new digital age where blockchain technology is indeed going to be very important. We are going to have a lot of assets. We are going to have a lot of information that will rely in blockchain networks. So in order to make sure that these assets and this information are safe, it is very important that we make sure that these blockchain networks are resistant to attacks by quantum computers. So the slides that I prepared for today start with some vision about this future. It is more introduction-oriented, and then after that, I will talk about the more technical details of the implementation. I know that there's different audiences here, so I didn't want to do only the technical presentation, so I'm starting with this more high-level introduction. So the first thing that I want to share is that we are starting a new digital age that some people are calling the Web3. And in order to understand what is this Web3, it is interesting to start by understanding what is the Web1. When the internet became a worldwide network of devices connected to each other, there was a first generation of applications and platforms that were accessible to individuals through home computers. In these applications, people could essentially read information on the internet, and this was called the static web. It started around the 1990s. After that, people started having personal smartphones. Smartphones were the interfaces that enable a new generation of the web. a web that became a social web, where people read and also write information, people exchange data all the time, constantly. This started in the mid-2000s, in the first years of the 2000s. Now we are at the beginning of a new digital age. This digital age that is called by some people the Web3 is an age that is going to be characterized by the use of blockchain networks and also the use of digital wallets. Digital wallets are going to be the interfaces that we will use as individuals in order to interact with this new generation of digital applications and platforms. In this Web3, we are going to be able not only to read and write information, but also to own. We will own our assets, our identity, our data in these digital wallets that are going to be in our mobile phones. And this is the user-centric web, or the tokenized web, that is starting this year as a consequence of an acceleration that happened because of the pandemic. In terms of crypto assets, that is one kind of assets that live in these blockchain networks, we can see that today, according to the sources from Crypto Analysis and the World Bank, there's a movement of around $3 trillion every quarter in blockchain networks. That means that every quarter there's around $3 trillion that are transacted in blockchain networks in the world. We can see that extends from west to east, including the Middle East, where there's a lot of countries that are very open to the use of cryptocurrencies for different purposes. If we look at the type of cryptocurrencies that are most highly transacted, we see Ether, stablecoins, Bitcoin, or decentralized finance and other crypto assets. If we take a look only at Bitcoin, we see that after having reached their maximum market cap in May 2021 of $1.2 trillion, the current market cap of Bitcoin is a little bit less than $1 trillion. This is just one crypto asset that is so relevant in the financial transactions worldwide today, and we are actually right now going to reach probably a higher cap in the next year. But it's not only these cryptocurrencies what will populate the new generation of crypto assets. According to Citigroup, by 2030, there's going to be $5 trillion that are not cryptocurrencies that we are going to be having tokenized in blockchain networks. We are talking about non-financial corporate and quasi-sovereign debt, $1.9 trillion tokenized out of the 187 that are in the world. Real estate funds, almost 10% tokenized by 2030. Private equity and venture capital, 10% tokenized by 2030. And I can keep going with the securities and with trade finance. And this is only the beginning of a new generation of tokenized financial assets, according to Citigroup. There's even more ambitious predictions. This is from Boston Consulting Group, one of the most consulting firms with the highest reputation. Boston Consulting Group elevates the amount of tokenized assets by 2030 to somewhere between 16 trillion and 68 trillion. So they say that there can be even $68 trillion tokenized by 2030. This is a very important amount of money that is going to be in these networks. And again, this is why it is so important to make sure that these networks are secure, and by secure we mean quantum resistant. A little bit more information as part of this introduction of the new digital age that we are approaching is how I was talking before about how it is going to be the combination of both blockchain and digital wallets, what is going to characterize the new digital age. So what are these digital wallets that we are talking about? So these digital wallets are these mobile applications where we are going to have different type of digital assets. One family of these digital assets are precisely verifiable credentials. Credentials that are going to include government IDs, passports, health certificates, education certificates, enterprise certificates, transport credentials. Maybe next year when we are having this conference here or in the country that hosts it, these elements of acknowledgement are already also in a digital form, and we receive them in a digital wallet like this, and we can present them anywhere in the world, so they are verifiable. This is what is happening already around the world, and this is what I've had the privilege of implement a pioneer in Latin America and the Caribbean in several countries. With that, we will see also an initial generation of what are called utility tokens. Utility tokens are assets that represent certain kind of value. For example, loyalty tokens, carbon credits, and biodiversity tokens that are very related to the Sustainable Development Goals that all countries are pursuing these days. Digital coupons, corporate tokens. We are also going to see ownership tokens that represent different assets that we own and that now we can control and transfer from the wallet, including real estate, automobile, electronic appliances. These facilitate the real-time transfer of value between individuals in a cross-border way. And last but not least, the new generation of money. The new generation of money is going to include tokenized forms of central bank digital currencies, stablecoins, cryptocurrencies, and also commercial money, commercial bank money that is called e-money. So now, with this introduction, trying to provide a little insight and vision about how the future of digital assets is going to look like, let's talk about what is the threat that is around the corner, because there is a big threat around the corner that is threatening all this new economy and all this new generation of data. That is precisely quantum computers. Because quantum computers are great for some things because they are more powerful, but also the downside is that they are also able to do things like breaking the cryptography that we use today for the internet and also for blockchain networks. As we see here in these two papers by the National Institute for Standards in Technology and by the National Security Agency of the United States, that were published around 2015, 2016, these two papers warn about the danger that represents the possibility that quantum computers are going to be able to break all the public key cryptography that is widely used in the internet and in blockchain. Public key cryptography, as you may know, is basically the name that receives when you use something like a public and a private key combined, and you use that in order to generate digital signatures or in order to encrypt information. The thing is that both the internet and blockchain rely strongly on this type of cryptography, because every time that we send a message over the internet, we are encrypting this message with the public key of the recipient. So only the recipient can decrypt the message with their private key. And every time we sign a message on the internet, we are signing the message with our private key, so anyone can verify it using our public key. So this combination of a public key and a private key has to remain secure, to remain safe in order to protect the internet and the blockchain from being hacked, yes? So let's analyze a little bit how it affects specifically blockchain. And after that, I will talk about the solution that we developed. So in the first place, the first question that everyone asks themselves is, how does the fact that we will have quantum computers soon breaking the current cryptography that we use today, like elliptic curve cryptography, logarithmic discrete logarithms or RSA cryptography, how it is affected by quantum computers in blockchain? So in the first case, everything related to the block generation, basically the consensus protocol in the blockchain that is implicit in the generation of blocks, this is not really affected because despite we can use Grover algorithm to generate blocks quadratically faster, we can also increase the difficulty of the blockchain quadratically, so we face that challenge. Actually, as you may know, in order to generate a block in blockchain, what you do is you get all the data from the transactions that you want to add to the blockchain. You also include the hash of the previous block, and you include a random part that is called a nonce. And with these three elements, you generate a hash with a hash function, and this hash is the one that you have to use your computational capacity in order to create. So basically, with Grover algorithm, you are able to test nonsense quadratically faster, and therefore find the right hash and get the reward by generating the block. But again, just by increasing the difficulty of the blockchain, this is a challenge or a threat that is addressed. The second thing is, how does quantum computing threat the rewriting of history in blockchain? Blockchain is very important and very well known because the fact that it is a chronological chain. So every block is in a chronological order before the previous block, before the next block and after the previous block. And the way we organize blocks is precisely by assigning them a number and by having every block containing the hash of the previous block. And that is what it prevents the changing of information in previous blocks in the blockchain. Because in the blockchain, everyone has a copy of the entire blockchain. And if I change information, let's say 100 blocks ago, the hash of every block after is going to change, and therefore when I compare my version of the chain with everyone else, there's going to be a difference, and they are going to know that I modify my chain. The only way that I can modify a previous block in my chain and still not having anyone realizing that I changed the blockchain is by being able to modify the transaction and again generate the same hash for that block. In order to do that, I need to be able to do something called a second pre-image that is basically finding the same hash with a different type of data. That again, with quantum computers, would be something that we would have quadratic advantage with Grover's algorithm. But quadratic advantage here is not enough because it is a very complex problem and it would still take thousands of years in order to be able to do something like that if the hash function is reliable. So not really a concern. Now, let's talk a little bit about privacy. Some people use blockchain networks in order to store information that is hashed. Let's say that I have some data, I have some documents, I have some information, and I hash that information and I put it in the blockchain. Can I use a quantum computer in order to revert that hash and get the information? The answer again is no, because here we have a finite number of elements in the output, but we have an infinite number of elements in the input. So in order to guess what is the input that gave us a specific output, we need to be able to do a pre-image and get a long list of elements, which is, as I said, infinite. And we will need to guess from this long list of elements, which is the one that precisely was used for that output. So this is not a threat either. However, there are two threats. The first threat is related to the communication between nodes. As I said before, all the communication over the internet, including the communication between nodes, is mediated by the fact that there's this cryptography that encrypts the information between nodes. So when I send information to some other node or from an application like a wallet to a node, that information is encrypted and is also signed. If I have a quantum computer that can hack the private keys that encrypt and sign that information, then I can impersonate the message, or I can destroy the message, or I can read the message when I should not have access to it. So what are the solutions for this? There's a first solution that is related to building a quantum internet. A quantum internet is known as a new telecom infrastructure that uses quantum key distribution for all devices to encrypt the channels using symmetric encryption. So basically, every two devices that are communicating to each other are generating symmetric keys every single time. The reason why they can do that at distance is because they are using quantum procedures, like, for example, polarized photons using the BB84 QKD protocol. So you can distribute symmetric keys in a way that they cannot be eavesdropped or they cannot be discovered by an eavesdropper. And in that case, then you can encrypt the messages in the blockchain with that symmetric key pair. The problem is that in order to have a quantum internet, you need to have a quantum telecommunications network. So you basically need to replace the entire telecom network by a new telecom network that has this type of software, this type of hardware. So we need to replace hardware. That is something that is being already done in some places. For example, China is the leading country in this development, Other regions like the European Union or the US are also catching up, but still it is early and it is not ready for a large implementation of a blockchain network. So the short-term implementation here is actually replacing the vulnerable algorithms that are used today to generate these keys in blockchain and in the internet by some algorithms, still public key algorithms or asymmetric algorithms that are more reliable, that are based on mathematical problems that quantum computers cannot solve efficiently. So unlike factoring prime numbers or unlike finding elliptic curves, the solution is using post-quantum cryptography like hash-based signatures or lattice-based signatures. NIST published last year the first 4 quantum-resistant cryptographic algorithms that are reliable enough in order to be used to replace current cryptographic public key algorithms. The last thing that is also important is the fact that quantum computers can not only break, communications, but they can also be used to steal assets. Because my assets in the blockchain are protected by the private key that I have that is linked to those assets. If someone discovers my private key because I expose my public key, then that someone will be able to steal my assets. We were talking about trillions of dollars in blockchain networks. If a quantum computer can steal the private keys associated to those trillions of dollars, then the owner of the quantum computer is going to be able to steal trillions of dollars in blockchain assets. Yes? What is the solution here? Very similar to the previous one. We cannot upgrade infrastructure to post-quantum infrastructure, to post-quantum quantum key distribution because it is not really from a telecom network. Also, the fact that we upgrade the entire blockchain to just replace the native blockchain signature algorithms is also very hard because some of these blockchains are ongoing. So the solution is complementing the current cryptographic algorithms using blockchain with post-quantum algorithms. Again, not replacing them, but complementing them. And this is precisely what we did in our implementation and what we did in our paper. Essentially, our paper consisted in 4 things. Our work, actually, that then led to the paper. The first thing that we did was generating quantum entropy. We connected to a physical hardware that generates quantum entropy from quantum entanglement that was provided by Quantinum. Then we used that in order to generate post-quantum key pairs using the algorithm Falcon 512. So with that, we were able to encrypt the communication between nodes and devices using quantum-resistant cryptography. After that, we also complemented the current blockchain signatures with post-quantum signatures. So now assets in blockchain are protected with post-quantum signatures. And finally, we developed 3 solutions to verify post-quantum signatures in blockchain. Some of them are more scalable, some of them are less scalable, and we discussed that in the paper. Here I summarize what I just explained about the benefits of this implementation. We did this in a blockchain network that is CVN compatible. That means that it is compatible with all the networks that are based on the Ethereum protocol. The network specifically is called LACchain. That is the one that we developed for Latin America and the Caribbean. Regarding the quantum entropy, we connected our solution to quantum origin. That is the quantum hardware by Quantinum that allows to generate this entropy. And with that, every user using a node was able to connect and get the different entropy requests in order to generate the keys. After that, for the implementation of post-quantum signatures and post-quantum encryption, we evaluated 2 different algorithms. Falcon and Crystal Dilithium. Falcon is hash-based, Crystal Dilithium is lattice-based. In our case, as we are using a blockchain where you store a lot of information, including some public keys, it is important to minimize the data that you need to store. So this is why we went to go with Falcon, because it was the most efficient one for us. Then, regarding the connection between nodes, we generated something that we call the post-quantum X509 certificates. So we added a post-quantum key into the X509 certificates that allow them to establish secure TLS channels. We also compare these post-quantum TLS channels versus the classical channels to see if there was a relevant overhead. But we realized that the overhead in the communication was very minimum. So making the communication between nodes and devices quantum resistant was wasn't something that was non-feasible. It was very feasible. Then we analyzed 3 alternatives to see how we verify the signatures in the transactions. So as now we are signing all the assets with post-quantum signatures, how do we verify those post-quantum signatures? We did 3 implementations. We used pure solidity code, that is the natural language used by Ethereum, smart contracts. The problem with this is that the smart contracts were so heavy that they could not be processed by the network. The second solution we explored was modifying the protocol of the Ethereum network itself, and that was efficient, but that needs to be accepted by the entire community, so it was not scalable. And then we did something in between, that is, we modified not the entire Ethereum protocol, but just a little thing in the blockchain nodes, so that allow us to have a smart contract that is non-native, but that is deployable in the network, and that allow to verify post-quantum signatures. Here we are showing what was the gas consumption. The gas is the measure of the resources that you use in the blockchain. So just for you to have an idea, in one block in the Ethereum network, you can fit 10 million units of gas. And this solution was demanding 300 units of gas, so it was very unfeasible, the first one. But with the third one, with this modification of the blockchain node, we were able to run this verification of post-quantum signatures, and we were able to see that it is feasible, and it is not very different from the classical one. We see up there what's the overhead, and we actually here average the overhead, and we see that the overhead is just around a 30% in CPU consumption when you run the post-quantum transactions or the non-post-quantum transactions. So it was feasible to basically add a post-quantum layer in the blockchain in order to make sure that we secure these $1 trillion in tokenized assets. So with that, I finished my presentation. I want to thank you again for your interest and your attention, and I would love to take any questions if there are. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for a very interesting presentation and a very deep one. I just have a few questions regarding the implementation. First of all, the quantum source where you generate the entropy. What is the cost? And also, is it a simulator or hardware or for real life situations if I wanted to? The other one is algorithm. You are generating keys, but the blockchain cryptographic algorithms will remain as, for example, RSA or other algorithms will remain the same, or are you going to also impose things like that? Okay.
Yes, thanks, Dr. Mohammed. Great questions. So regarding the first question, we use the hardware of one of our partners that is called Quantinum. They make physical devices that use quantum entanglement in order to generate quantum entropy. So back when we did the project, one of these devices had a cost of around $150,000. So if you wanted to buy one, you could buy it for that amount. The problem is that obviously when you are running blockchain nodes, you usually do it in the cloud. So you need devices that generate quantum entropy in the cloud. So right now, they are implementing the first solutions in the cloud, and instead of paying for the full device, you pay for some quantum entropy as a service. We are starting to test that solution now in order to implement that in the cloud in production. So I will let you know when I figure what is going to be the cost there. Yes, the second question regarding the algorithm, it is also a very important one, because we evaluated, we considered replacing the native cryptographic algorithm of blockchain. It is usually elliptic curve. Like most of blockchains don't use RSA or logarithm algorithms. They use elliptic curves, both Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the most known ones. So the problem is that you could replace the elliptic curve and just create a new blockchain that has post-quantum cryptography native in the blockchain. But as there's already so much value stored in current blockchain networks, it would not solve the problem of current blockchain networks. And it looks like it is the current blockchain networks, the one that are going to continue to be well positioned. It is not that there's going to be like a new generation of blockchain networks that are going to replace fully the current ones. So considering that, the easiest approach is, instead of replacing the native cryptography, just complementing it. So when I send a transaction to the network, I sign it with the native algorithm that is an elliptic curve signature, but I also add a post-quantum signature. So if someone wants to break my cryptography and steal my asset, they are going to have my elliptic curve private key, but also my post-quantum private key. And that's why we figured that we could protect the blockchain without too much modification. That was the most optimal way.
Okay. Very well. Very nice. Excellent.
Well, if there are no more questions, I just want to thank you again. Again, as I said, we are working on this type of projects with both public and private sector. So in addition to the research collaborations that we will initiate, I would also like to invite anyone that is exploring to implement this on an enterprise perspective, that I would love to talk, and I will be available for it. Thank you so much.
Great thanks to Professor Lopez for this amazing session. Thank you so much. Before we delve into our other sessions, we would like to take a 10-minute coffee break. So please do grab your favorite brew and network, and we'll see you here shortly in 10 minutes. Thank you.